What is up, everybody? Cjethsyt here. So, this video, doing a little something new. I haven't done this one before, but I've, kind of wanted to do it for a while now, so I figured why not. We're going to be doing little bit of NHL 21 player rating predictions. So, as many of you know, I'm a big NHL guy. Maybe not as much in NHL 20 because the game sucked, but do like the game. Do enjoy my franchise mode. So, this video, basically, I'm going to do my predictions, what they're going to rate the Rangers players. I'm going to guess what they're going to rate them, and then at the bottom of the thing, I'm going to tell you what I think they should get. So the big number you see at the top is what I think EA Sports is going to rate the players. What I have at the bottom is what I would put them as. I'm probably going to put them as on my Super Mega roster update, as you all know I like to do. So first, let's go over the forwards. This is listed in order of games played. Was it games played or points? I think it was points. So yeah, it was by no, I think it was by points. I did it by points. Yeah. So starting off with Buchnevich, played 4 games with the Rangers this season, amassed a whopping 0 points. Buchnevich, if they have him higher than 75 overall, medium top 9, I'd be amazed. Honestly, at this point, they might even get rid of the medium top 9, make him medium bottom 6. My opinion, 75 overall, medium top 9 should work. I might even bump him to a 76. He had a pretty decent season in the A show, but I don't see him being much better than that. Stephen Fogarty, I'm going to guess EA Sports probably going to chuck him a 74 overall, medium bottom 6. I think you should give him the 75 low top 9. I think Fogarty will be a platoon NHLer in his day. He may carve out a career similar to Greg McKegg in and out of the NHL until he's about 27, 28, 29 years old. He might find a consistent role on a maybe not as depthy team like how the Rangers were this year. I see him fitting the same mold and role as a guy like Greg McKegg. Fogarty's still young. I think he's 25 years old, so he's still developing little by little. Probably won't get much better, but 7 games played, 0 points. Never really stood out. He fits in the bottom role well. I mean, 4th line guy, plays 5-6 minutes a night. He'll find a spot somewhere. I don't really see his ceiling being any higher than 77 overall in his life, but who knows. Tim Gettinger, I happen to like Tim Gettinger a lot more than the last 2 guys. 2 games played, he had an assist in those 2 games. Kind of thought he was was hoping he was going to get more ice and more call-ups, but they wanted to go with Fogarty, which is fine. I'd bet money to have him at 74, medium top 9, maybe medium bottom 6, but I think at this point he's kind of earned the medium top 9. He got some games this year. I think he should be at least a 76, medium top 9. The reason I have a 76 down is because I got a funny feeling that he might actually crack the Rangers roster next season. With with Greg McKegg and Phil Giuseppe's contracts expiring, and the Rangers seemingly having no money to replace them in free agency, Tim Gettinger is a prime candidate for a call-up. Lias Andersson, 17 games, 1 point, pretty disappointing season. In my opinion, he didn't get very much ice time this year. I thought he should have gotten more. I thought the whole him going back to the SHL situation could have been avoided by the Rangers just letting him play more, because I thought Lias Andersson played pretty well in the minuscule minutes they gave him. But, I mean, they played Brett Howden over him, so what does that tell you? I'd say they're probably going to have a 75 overall, medium top 6. I think it should be a 76 overall, bump him 1 higher. He actually did pretty well when he went back to the SHL, but it's EA Sports. They don't pay enough attention to it, so they'll probably have him at a 75. I think a 76, 77 would be fair. But that's just me. Personally, if I had control, I would probably make him a 76, 77. I probably would lean closer to 77, but still. Julien Gauthier, 76 overall, medium top 6. He had 2 assists in 12 games with the Rangers this year. I'd have him at a 77, 78. I thought Gauthier was very impressive in the games that he played, considering the fact that he really never played more than 10 minutes a night. I think 77 overall is good for this game, especially for those that play franchise mode. When players are at 76 overall for some reason, oddly enough, they don't seem like they grow. Whereas 77 overall, at least at that point, you kind of put the 4th line role on him instead of minor scoring forward. So he should get the ice time in the NHL and help him grow a bit more. So I like 77 medium top 6 for Gauthier. I'm definitely not ready to bump him down to a medium or a high top 9 yet. I think medium top 6 is still pretty good for Julien Gauthier, all things considered. If you're really going hardcore, and I wasn't as biased as I am to the Rangers, considering I see him night after night, I think a high top 9 would be good for him, but medium top 6 right now until further notice. I thought he played really well in the playoffs too. Phil Giuseppe, 76 overall. 77, I would put him as that way. He kind of gets like that platoon player. I mean, 1 goal, 4 points in 20 games. So Giuseppe didn't really play that bad. He found some chemistry on the Kakko, Brett Howden line. I thought he played pretty well. I wouldn't say useless in the playoffs, but not very effective. I think that 77 overall fits him pretty well. 76, it doesn't really make it. Well, 76, 77 is that same thing. It puts him between a minor scorer and a 4th line forward. I think Phil Giuseppe could be a consistent 4th line player in the NHL. I think he's a guy you can bounce around the lineup. You put him on a better team than the Rangers, where you have really solid top 2 centers and maybe not as strong a wing core, kind of like how the Penguins took Connor Sherry and turned him into a pretty good player. I think they could have done the same with Phil Giuseppe, but still, that's neither here nor there. So I think 77 overall is pretty good for Phil Giuseppe. Kegger, I think, got him at 77 overall, 5 goals, 9 points, 53 games. I think 77 overall is just fine for Greg McKegg. I wouldn't have him any higher or lower. 77 gives him that fourth line role. 76 for him as a minor scorer. 78, in my opinion, is a bit high for Greg McKegg, considering he's not really he's a well-rounded player, but what I mean by well-rounded is he doesn't really excel at any part of the game. He's pretty balanced in his offensive and defensive, I guess assets is the right word here. You know, he's not a great defensive player. He's not a great offensive player, but he's not a bad offensive player, nor is he a bad defensive player. So he kind of fits in right there at 77 overall. I think that's a good rating for him. Brendan Lemieux, 78 overall, medium top 9 is my guess is what they're going to have him as. I'd probably have him at a 78, 79 high top 9. 6 goals, 18 points in 59 games. Never really clipped more than 10 minutes a game, and put up 18 points and 6 goals on a Rangers team that was thirsty for offense in the depth portion of their lineup. In my opinion, I have him at 78 overall, high top 9. You could push for a 79 overall, but I think a 78 is good. Again, it keeps him at that fourth line role instead of creeping towards that third line checking, third line scoring role. Especially Brendan Lemieux, I think he's a power forward in that game too. So I think 78 overall, high top 9 is good enough for that fourth line low. You can sneak him into your top 9, but I keep him on the fourth line. So I think that's pretty good. So the only thing I really changed there from my predictions to what I think is just the potential. Brett Howden, I think they're going to have him this year probably 78 overall, medium top 9. Definitely is not medium top 6 anymore. I think that ship has sailed. In 9 goals, 19 points, 70 games, actually a down season compared to last year. My opinion, I'd have him at 78 overall, high top 9. Brett Howden is a former first-round pick. He shows glimpses all the time of being a really solid NHL player where he shows signs of being as good defensively as Stepan was, but maybe not as good offensively as Stepan was for the Rangers. I do think he could sneak into a second-line center role at this point as the best he could ever be, in my opinion, is a fringe second-line center. He could prove me otherwise. He's still a kid. He's going to be 22 years old, sorry. So he's still a puppy. He's still a kid. But in terms of the video games perspective, what he's done the first 2 seasons in the NHL, I think high top 9 is good for him. I think right there you can develop into like an 82, 83 overall third line checking center. Solid all around, doesn't excel at any part of the game. Maybe a bit better defensively than offensively, but I think 78 overall, high top 9 is pretty good. At least where Brett Howden is now, and at least at high top 9, it gives him a little bit more trade value than you have at medium top 9. Medium top 9, you get that sliver. The high top 9, and get you closer to like second round pick value. Kakko, I'm gonna guess they have him at 80 overall, medium elite. 10 goals, 23 points in 66 games. I think where he stood out the most is the way he played in the playoffs. I'd have him at 81 overall, medium elite. I think 81's a good number. Because, again, 80 overall is like that fringe, especially for the Rangers, it's like a fringe third-line player. The 81 overall just puts him over Jesper Foss area, so we get him on the third line, let him develop a little bit more. Helps the AI out a bit. I think 81 overall is good. It goes from third-line checking to third-line scoring at that point. So I like that for Kakko. Medium elite definitely should not be taken. I think high elite is way too much for Kakko right here. I think we would have expected a much better rookie campaign from him, and I think if he had the campaign we kind of expected, where he might have clipped between 15, 20 goals, 40 points, you could start talking about 83, 84 overall. I wouldn't even go high elite then. I think 81 overall, medium elite. For me is good, but I'd bet money that EA Sports has him at 80 overall, medium elite. Filip, last year I had him at 80 overall, medium elite. I think he kind of lost to medium elite here. I bet EA Sports puts him at 80 overall, high top 6. Shows glimpses of absolute brilliance in the NHL. 60 points, 60 games. I wish 60 points. 60 games, 14 goals, 23 points for Filip. I think 80 overall, high top 6 is both my opinion and my prediction for him in NHL 21. EA Sports might, because they're not really very giving with the high potential. So I'd bet they probably want to put him at that medium top 6, but considering all he's done and all the hype around him, I think 80 overall, high top 6 is good for Filip. I don't think medium elite is something I'm gonna slap on Filip anymore. Jesper Foss, we're gonna go to him now. 69 nice games played, 12 goals, 29 points. They're probably gonna have him at 80 overall. They're probably gonna put him as a sniper again. My opinion, I have Jesper Foss as a two-way forward or grinder at 81 overall. That's usually what I put him to. And when you make him a two-way forward or grinder, he tends to simulate more like he does in real life, where he gets between 8 and 12 goals, 8 and 13 goals. Usually gets between 20, 35 points in that range. It just fluctuates season to season. My Jesper build is always 81 overall, two-way forward. I think I've had that since NHL 17 now. Oh, I'm sorry, NHL 18 now. Usually fits around that area for me. So that's my opinion. EA Sports won't do it. They'll probably have him at about 80. I think 81's good. I would even make an argument for 82, but just because he's on the fourth line pretty often, even though he does fluctuate up and down the lineup, I think 81's good. I think for his synergies, he should be balanced all across the lineup because he doesn't really... He could play any style, Jesper Foss. So I think 81 overall with balanced synergies across the board would be good for him. Chris Kreider, I bet you EA Sports, 63 games played, 24 goals, 45 points. I think they'll have him at 84. My opinion, he's at 84. I mean, I might even bump down to an 83, but 20 goal scorer in today's day and age, not very common. 84 overall gets him right into that second line role. Because 84 overall gets you, because 83 is usually like, it's common to see 83 overall power forwards as third line scoring forwards. Whereas 84 gets him right into that second line role where he fits into. You could make a case for him at 85, but I think 84 is healthy for him right now. And that gets him in that second line role. I think they'll have him at an 84. In my opinion, he is an 84 overall. Although there are times he plays like an 89. So we'll see what happens with Kreider. Buchnevich, if I'm guessing, they got him at 83 overall, medium top 6. I think it's close. 16 goals, 46 points, 68 games, was an absolute unit in the playoffs. My opinion, I got Buchnevich at an 84 high top 6. Give him the high top 6 because he's going to be 25, 26 years old next season, so he might get a little bit extra growth, might peak to that 86 overall, 85, 86 overall range, which I think is a reasonable ceiling for Pavel Buchnevich. But right now, I think 83 overall, medium top 6 is what EA Sports is going to give him. My opinion doesn't differ very much besides the fact that 84 high top 6 might get him to grow a little bit more, and 84 overall gets him in that second line role versus a cost. Well, he's listed as a sniper playmaker in the game, so usually gives him that second line role, but the 84 kind of guarantees that. So I'd like to see him in 84 overall high top 6, but in all reality, I'm going to guess they got him at 83 medium top 6. Strome, really good season. 70 games played, 18 goals, 59 points for Ryan Strome. I'm going to guess they have him at 84. It might be safe to even guess they put him at an 85, but I think 84 is where they're going to put him with high offensive numbers, low defensive numbers. In my opinion, 84 is good for Ryan Strome. I've been a big speaker too. I don't think Strome's an entire product of Artemi Panarin, because if you look at his first season with the Rangers, gosh, I forget how many points he had in X amount of games, but his points per game did not increase very much this season. Like, his points per game totals this season to last weren't. It would make you think that he's just having a really good season versus he was heavily influenced by a stud player like Artemi Panarin. So in my opinion, they got him at 84 overall, and I think that's what I'm guessing, and that's what I think he should be at. So 84 overall for Ryan Strome. Mika Zibanejad, if I'm guessing, if I know EA Sports in the past, I'll give him an 88, 89 overall, medium elite. They'll probably give him great physical numbers and shitty offensive numbers because this game is fucking typical for that. Did the same thing to Rick Nash when he was in the game. They'd make him 87, 88, 89 overall, but he'd have crappy offensive numbers, put up 60 points a season, and just amazing physical numbers that come out of nowhere. Mika Zibanejad is not a physical player. I guarantee you his body checking will be between 82 and 85 overall just to get his overall numbers up, and I think it's bullshit. 57 games played, 41 goals, 75 points, the highest goal per game rate in the entire NHL. My opinion, I'd have him up at 91 overall medium elite because I think Mika Zibanejad, as much as he's a sniper in a lot of people's eyes, I do think he's a solid two-way forward. He's got a good defensive game. He's a great skater. He can play physical, but we prefer he doesn't because of his concussion problems. But my guess is that EA Sports has him at 89 overall medium elite. I think 91 overall is reasonable considering what he did this season. I wish they'd have him at that, but in all reality, they won't. So I think you should expect on launch date, 89 overall medium elite Mika Zibanejad. Don't be surprised if they give him that 88. And check that physical category. Come back to the video and comment. I guarantee you he's got a 4.5 star physical category, which does not make sense for him, but they'll have it. Final forward, Artemi Panarin. 95 points, 32 goals, 69 nice games. They should have him at a 92 overall. If you look at any player in the past that put up point per game rate similar to him, like Chytil, David, Matthews, Ovechkin, Malkin, scorers that put up rates that he put up this past season usually get that 91, 92 overall. I like 92. It's a healthy number for Panarin. I wouldn't go higher than 92 because once you hit that 93, I feel like that 93 mark is when you go from a high elite stud player to a guy you build your entire franchise around. And as much as I love Artemi Panarin, I don't think he's a guy you build an entire franchise around. I think he's a really phenomenal player you build with, but I don't know if you build around him, only because he's a winger. But yeah, 92 overall I think is a very safe bet. and I think it fits him perfectly. 92 overall for Panarin. I think he was 89 overall and 90 overall on launch date for NHL 20. So give him that 2-3 overall boost. I think 92 is perfect for Panarin. Moving on now to defensemen, starting off with Libor, Hajek. 76 overall medium top 4 is my guess. I think that's about right. 28 games played, 5 points, shortened due to injury. I think 77 medium top 4 is good for him because at 77 overall, you give him that 7th defenseman marking. 76 overall, he could be a minor top 4, minor top 2. Whereas at 77, just gets him to a cusp NHL, which I think he is. I think we shouldn't really be surprised if Libor Hajek makes his way into the Rangers lineup next season. So I like that 77 overall medium top 4. You can even put him down to high top 6 if you want to. But I think medium top 4 is good for him right now. Brendan Smith, 76 overall, 3 goals, 8 points, 62 games. Believe it or not, as much as I'm a Brendan Smith hater, I think putting him up to a 77 overall wouldn't hurt. Only because he fluctuated between forward and defense this year. So I got him at 77 overall because I think he make his offensive numbers and his skating numbers a little bit better than they have been in the past. So I'm going to guess they have him at 76, but I kind of like him right now at 77 because he is a cusp 7th defenseman, and usually those 7th defensemen you see around 77 overall. Marc Staal, actually, you know what? 2 goals, 11 points, 52 games. I didn't think Staal really had that bad of a season. I think he should go and be replaced because of his money. But in all reality, I bet EA Sports puts him at a 77. My opinion, I got him at a 78. You know, he could still be a 6th defenseman on an NHL team. I think the problem is on the Rangers. They rely on him a lot, and he's playing more minutes than he should for his age, his injury history, and where he's at right now. So I think 78 overall is pretty good for Stalzy. Again, that's your 6th defenseman. He could fit in on most teams' top 6s, just not at the fucking price tag he's at right now. I wouldn't put him any better than your 5th best defenseman. If he's your 5th best defenseman or better, you got a serious issue on the blue line. Ryan Lindgren, I'm gonna guess this is the big one for me. This is probably the biggest difference I have between EA Sports and my personal opinion. So I'm gonna guess that EA Sports puts him at 78 overall, medium top 4, 60 games played, a goal, 14 points. In my opinion, in this game, the way I see Ryan Lindgren is literally Dan Girardi 2.0, but with a mean streak. The way Lindgren played this season, the way he shut things down, the way he broke the puck out of the neutral zone, out of the defensive zone into the neutral zone, I personally have Ryan Lindgren at an 81, 82 overall, high top 4. 82 overall gets him to that cusp top 4 defenseman, which I think is where Lindgren's at this point in time. And that high top 4, I think he grows into that. I think medium top 4, you're risking too much of him literally not growing, because for some reason defensemen in NHL games is going back as far as freaking NHL 13. When you have defensemen even with 4-star potential, so even before they switched to the alphabetical and verbatim system versus the star system, when you had a 4-star defenseman or a medium top 4 defenseman, once they hit 81, 82, 83 overall, I feel like they never grow anymore after that, especially at the age of 22 years old. So they get at the high top 4 potential, you give them the chance to get to that 84, 85, 86 overall range, where we shouldn't be surprised if Ryan Lindgren reaches that one day, especially if he keeps playing with Adam Fox. They got good chemistry. So I like that 82 overall, high top 4 for Ryan Lindgren. That's my opinion. That's what I think EA Sports can have him at. I highly disagree with that number. I think 82 overall, 81 overall, high top 4 is good for him right now. Jacob Trouba, I'd bet money EA Sports got him at 84 overall, medium elite. Medium elite, give him a chance to grow. 70 games played, 7 goals, 27 points. Definitely a down offensive season. I'd have Trouba at 84, 85 overall, medium elite. Keep his physical numbers up nice and high. His passing numbers pretty high. His skating is what's going to bring him down. You could tell skating-wise, he's a pretty big liability on defense. Hopefully something he works on in the offseason. Was much better in the playoffs. I think in the playoffs, Jacob Trouba was our most effective defenseman. I think Fox was a close second, but in the playoffs, Trouba was, without a doubt, hands down, our most effective defenseman. Played very well. He shut things down a lot more. He was snapping the puck around. He was ripping the puck on net with that heavy slap shot and wrister of his. But what he did in the regular season does not justify anything higher than 85 overall. So I think 85 is where I'd have him, but I bet you EA Sports probably puts him around an 84. Adam Fox, they probably have, considering what they did to him last year, I think last year they had him at like an 80 medium top 4. So they probably bump him up to an 83 medium top 4. Again, 8 goals, 42 points in his rookie campaign. I personally would have him at 85 overall medium elite. Because you're probably going to have guys like Hughes and McCarr. They're probably going to be 87, 88 overall. Fox is definitely behind them, but I wouldn't say there's a huge gap. I'd say there's a... Because if you have McCarr and Hughes, they should be 88, 89 overall. Right now on NHL 20, I did my own personal roster update to kind of gauge where I think things are at. And I have Makar and Hughes both at 89 overall. I think in NHL 21 they'll both be at 88, 89. So if you have Fox 4 overall behind them, he's in the realm of becoming a really good defenseman, but he's not better than those guys. So I think 85 overall medium elite's good. Should have him grow to about an 88, 89 overall at his peak when he's done growing, when he has the age of 26 in NHL 21. So I think 85 overall medium elite, in my opinion, is where I put Adam Fox. Because medium elite right now gets him to be close to, if not a top 2 defenseman one day, which is what I think Adam Fox will be. So I think that's a good number for him, but I wouldn't put it on EA to give him medium elite. They'd give him medium top 4, 83 overall, just for balancing reasons. Tony DeAngelo, I think they're going to give him the Eric Gustafsson treatment like after he had the 60-point season in Chicago. I bet you they got him at 86 overall, high top 4, and he definitely earned it. 53 points, 15 goals in 68 games played as a defenseman. I think that's a good number for Tony DeAngelo. I even had that as my opinion, 86 overall, high top 4. As much as I love Tony DeAngelo, I'm not prepared to give him the medium elite tag only because I'm not gonna question his playoff game at all because he was hurt during the playoffs. He messed up his shoulder in the first game against the Islanders, so I'm not holding anything he did in the playoffs against him. I'm just looking strictly at his regular season numbers, and what I gathered from the regular season, I'm not gonna give him the medium elite tag because as good as I think he is defensively, at least as solid as I think he is defensively, I wouldn't put him out there with a minute left and the other team goalie pulled. I wouldn't have him out there for that situation. That's why I got him at 86. High offensive numbers, high skating numbers, good physical numbers, which is going to bump his overall a lot considering he's an offensive defenseman and those categories should be low. So considering those categories might be a bit high for him, his overall is going to get boosted a bit more. So I think 86 overall is where we're going to see him next season, and rightfully so. Because that's what I got him as. Moving on to goaltenders, we only got 3 of them. Alexander Georgiev, if I'm guessing, EA Sports got him 81 overall medium starter, 304 goals against, 910 save. On the Rangers, that's pretty good numbers. In my opinion, I'd have him at 83 overall high starter. One that gives him good trade value, which is kind of what he has in real life. If the Rangers traded Georgiev today, you probably get a late first rounder for him, which is kind of what that 83 overall high starter will get you in terms of trade value, at least if trade value is any similar to was in NHL 20. So I think that's a good number for him. 81 overall medium starter shouldn't surprise you if you see that, though, on launch date. It's just my opinion. I have him at high starter, 83 overall. They did the same thing to Cam Talbot when the Rangers traded him. Low overall, low potential. They got to boost him a little bit. Show him a little love. Henrik Lundqvist, I bet you they got him at 83 overall. 316 goals against, 905 save percentage, 1 shutout. Georgiev had 2 shutouts. I forgot to mention that. I'd put Hank at an 84. I think he's still a fringe starter. And 83 overall is common for backups these days with Jarl Halak and what's his name, Kemper and Ronta over in Arizona. So I think 83, 84 overall is good for Hank. I'm going to guess they're going to put him at 83. In my opinion, I think he's still at an 84. But I don't think it's likely we see him much higher than that. Igor Shesterkin, 12 games played, 252 goals against, 932 save percentage. I'm going to guess on launch date we see him at 84 overall, medium elite. My opinion, 85 overall high elite. The reason I'm giving him high elite is not only because I think he has the potential to become a really good goalie in the NHL, at least a top 5 goalie in the NHL, is that because of his age, because he's going to be 23, 24 years old coming up, you give him the medium elite, he won't grow very much, whereas you give him the high elite, he will grow. He'll reach that 88, 89, 90 overall mark. In your franchise modes with medium elite potential, expect an NHL 21 if you keep these rosters as is, and he gets the 84 overall medium elite. Don't expect him to grow any higher than 87, 88, and if he does, you must have figured something out that I couldn't. So if you really do want to see him grow into the goalie that we all expect him to become, knock on wood, give him that 85 overall high elite, and that should get him to grow to that 89, 90 range. Going to prospects, we're only going to do about 5 of them here. First and foremost, Morgan Barron. If I'm guessing what EA Sports is going to put him at based on what they give college kids in the past, 68 overall, medium, top 9. You might even see like a 65 bottom 6 forward, but I think Morgan Barron stuck out enough the past couple of years. 14 goals, 32 points in 29 NCAA games on a not that strong Cornell team. I think that's a good number for him. Good numbers for him in compared to what he's done in season past. He's grown every year in the NCAA. So with those good numbers, in my opinion, if I was putting Morgan Barron in the game, if I was a developer at EA Sports, I got him at 72, 73 overall, high top 9. I don't think Morgan Barron gets to medium top 6, nor has he really earned it yet. I think if he put up 37, 38 plus points in 29 NCAA games, you can give him that tag. But I think high top 9 is good. I don't think personally Morgan Barron's ceiling really exceeds a fringe second line center or a really good third line center right now. So, in my opinion, if you're editing your rosters the way I do, which is almost every single player in the world, I got him at 72 overall, high top 9. That's probably where I'm going to put him on launch day when I do my own update. But don't be surprised if you see him at that from EA Sports perspective. Keandre Miller, if I'm guessing, they got 71 overall, medium top 4. You know what I compare him to? I bet he's going to be an offensive defenseman. And a very hyped offensive defenseman, kind of like how, what's his name was before he got traded to Pittsburgh from Arizona. Pierre-Olivier Olivier Joseph. I bet you they put Keandre Miller in a kind of the same stint where he's never going to grow for you. He's going to be at 71 overall, offensive defenseman, medium top 4, and he will never grow. So 7 goals, 18 points, 36 college games. We all know about Keandre Miller. We've heard great things about him. I did this with Pierre-Olivier Joseph, Olivier Joseph, in my NHL 20, and it helped him grow a lot. Bump him up 2 overall. In my opinion, I got him at a 73 low elite. Because I do think Keandre Miller has a very, very high ceiling. I just don't know the odds of him getting there. I think also the 73 overall low elite allows him to at least grow to an 80 overall. So you will have him in the NHL at some point in his career. Just you don't know if he's going to be a 78, 79 or an 80, 89. Because you give him that low elite tag. I've seen low elites grow as high as 91 overall. Never higher than that, but at least the low elite, you give him the chance. Just not a great chance. Nils Lundqvist, I'm going to guess they got him at 72 overall, medium top 4. Last year they had him at 58 overall or 56 overall, just something so stupid. I think this year at least he made some waves. He set records for U20 scoring in the SHL as a defenseman. I mean, 11 goals, 31 points in 45 games is pretty impressive in the NHL. For like a, I don't know. No, I shouldn't have said the NHL. 31 points, 45 games. It's great numbers. Great numbers for a young offensive defenseman. If you want to see Nils Lundqvist grow, I put him in a similar category to Keandre Miller right now. Very, very high ceiling, but also a very high floor. So, in my opinion, I got Nils Lundqvist, 76 overall low elite. The reason I got him at 76 overall is because I think you can see Nils Lundqvist on the Rangers team this year in real life. So if you give him that 76, he could grow to that 77, 78 mark while you're simulating your first season, so you might be able to sneak him into the NHL. It's a good number for him. And again, he's going to grow. That low elite, you could see him as low as 79 or as high as 89. So I like that number for him. Last but not least, I'm sorry, not yet. Vitaly Krasov, I forgot I had him in here. 73 overall, medium top 6, probably where they're going to have him. 6 goals, 15 points, 39 AHL games. I don't think they're going to have him much higher than 73. In my opinion, I put him at a 75 overall, high top 6. That way he's still a good player, and he does grow because at 73 overall, medium top 6, he's going to have very low trade value, and he's going to have very low chance of growing to any higher than 81 overall. So at least you give him the high top 6. You give him the chance to get between the 83, 86 overall player. You might see him grow a bit higher, but I don't see him growing any higher than 86 overall, at least with this tag. But it gives him good enough trade value to where it's kind of equivalent to where he's at in real life. So the Rangers, as we know, have an influx of wingers. If they want to move him, they can. And that 75 overall high top 6 will give him that trade value equivalent to what we see him at in real life. Last but not least, Alexis Lafreniere. If I'm going to guess, kind of seeing what they did last year with Jack Hughes, because they love to do the same thing every freaking year, you're probably going to see him at an 81 overall high elite, 35 goals, 112 points in 52 QMJHL games. Yikes, that's sick. My opinion, I got him at the 82 overall high elite. You give him the 82 overall, you give him the chance to get that either third line scoring for third line checking and third line scoring, and also get him the second line role, which he might get an 82. You might have to make him an 83 to get the second line role locked in, but it doesn't hurt to have him at the 81, 82. So a launch date, don't be surprised if you see him at 81. I got him at 82, just considering the way he ripped on everyone in the QMJHL, and did so not even really trying very much. So, yeah. But anyways, that's about all I got for this. Gosh, you wouldn't believe, like, this slideshow. It took me 20 minutes to make the video about it, but it took me about an hour and a half to make this entire slideshow, believe it or not. So, yeah, that's kind of my opinion on all things. What do you guys think about my NHL ratings? Half-hour video. What do you guys comment down below? What do you think of my ratings? Do you think my EA Sports guesses were accurate? I mean, I've been playing the game since freaking 2007, so I'm usually pretty hands-on and spot-on with with calling out the overall ratings. But what do you think about my ratings? Do you agree with my ratings? Was there any player that I missed that you want me to take a guess on? If there is, comment down below. I'll do players that aren't on the Rangers if you want me to. I love playing the guessing game. I do it with my little brother every single year. We'll guess, what do you think this guy's going to be out? What do you think he's going to be out? She's going to be out? Whatever. So comment down below if I miss anyone, or comment down below your thoughts. I'd like to hear from you guys. Till then, thank you everybody for watching the video. But watching it, so making it. And if you're into everything I just said, you're not hearing it, congratulations. I talk very fast. New Yorker and me. And yeah, comment down below. We'll talk. See you guys next time. Peace.